how were you able to make the leap when nobody else would even attempt the leap? He scratched his head. He looked at the interviewer and he said, well, truth is, I'm afraid of heights. Now that piqued the interviewer's curiosity, and so he said, well, wait a minute, if you're afraid of heights, how in the world were you able to make the jump? He said, I checked out my situation. He said, I recognized that they had a body harness on me that was attached to somebody above me who was capable of holding me. And so I figured, since there was somebody above me who was going to be holding on to me, that I might as well try. And I don't know who this is for tonight, but God told me to come up in here and tell you, you might as well try. Shake your neighbor, say, try tonight, that if you are blessed of God and the favor of God is obvious and evident in your life, you got to get ready right now, because you're going to have to navigate a Saul situation. You won't live long before you discover that some of the people who are all up on you really can't stand you horseback walking or riding, and that somebody you tried to help is actually insanely jealous of you, because if the truth be told, they really want to be you. That's a Saul situation. If David were here tonight, he would have to testify. He would say, Lance, I recognize that I got 99 problems, but trusting God ain't one. I've also got a praise in my pocket, and I've discovered that if I just release my praise, that God will exchange my praise for his protection and his provision. So I've got to tell what I know about God. I've got to tell what God has brought me through, what God has brought me to, how God has kept me, how God has never left me, how God has blessed me, how God has raised me, because every time I praise God, God relocates me to another place where my enemies cannot get to me. But if you've ever played hide and seek, you know, and you are a witness, that when you've been hiding long enough, you always start to get a little nervous, because you never know when the one who is it is going to jump out and say, I got you. If you hiding in the closet, you start peeking out the door. If you hiding under the bed, you start looking out from under the covers, because you never know when the one who is it is going to jump out. See, but also when you play hide and seek, there's a thing called home base. And the premise behind home base is that if I can just get to the right location, it can see me, but it can't tag me. And that's why David said, one thing have I desired of the Lord, and that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. He was saying God's house is my home base, that if I can just get to the presence of God, my enemies can see me, but they won't be able to slay me, because I'm standing in the right place and God is protecting me.